ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तं हदेवम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये. Whose light reveals the knowledge of the Atman, who first creates the cosmic soul and delivers to him the supreme knowledge, desirous of emancipation, I seek refuge in that effulgent being. Good morning, and today is the third lecture of the series, Some Thoughts on Prayer. So I hope another 1 or 2 lectures we can maybe conclude that what we wanted to say. There are many things to say, but at some point you have to end your journey. We'll try how much we can discuss, but in our next lecture, generally, I will try to the prayer according to the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, mainly from his life, and but before reaching there, I am trying to gather up all those other information that will help us to understand his teachings more. With what a sweet and simple language he told us, he shared us all those lofty ideals. It's really amazing. So with this chanting, with the prayer, we have started. We offer our pranam, our refuge in that effulgent being who first creates the cosmic soul and delivers to him the supreme knowledge. So the same source we are seeking our knowledge, more light. This morning only, suddenly it occurred to me about a book. The book is a collection of some thoughts. Probably many of you probably you know about that. The book name is written by Swami Paramanandaji, Book of Daily Thoughts and Prayers. A beautiful book. Okay, again something came into my mind. Shivarchanananda ji, in his book Meditation and Spiritual Life, he was talking about prayer. The chapter started with a discussion between a little girl, and a priest, or maybe a girl or boy, maybe that I forgot. 2-3 incidents are there. The priest told that, in a good family, our parents, they teach you before go to sleep or in the early morning, say prayer. Sometimes that. So it was a good family, and I'm trying to figure out that exact thing. So the priest asked, what prayer that you said last night? Okay, so last night. Okay, I didn't have any want, so I say no prayer. I said no prayer. So because I want. So it shows that in our childhood we have an idea of God. He is a boon giver. Whatever you want, just ask him and he or she will provide. That is our idea. But when you grow, your ideas become more refined. So with that note, let us return to the topic, what I wanted to say. That Paramananda, very first, it is the dedication of that book, probably. So, he says, O Lord, be not offended if my mortal hand lacketh grace to offer thee oblation. Yet this hand is thy gift, sanctified by thy touch. I will use it humbly and lift this offering of love to thy feet. I will cherish my mind, for it hath brought me thoughts of thee. I will cherish my heart, for it hath brought me to thy gate. And I will crown this life with a crown of bliss, for it hath given me vision of thee. How beautifully. Sometimes out of humility, so-called humility, we curse ourselves. There is no point about that. My hand, my mind, my heart, my life came from him. That was the Swami's point. Once, one devotee asked Sri Ramakrishna, what is the way, sir? So with many answers, the last answer was that God gives to some, the question was like that, God gives to some full spiritual consciousness and others he keeps in ignorance. Immediately Sri Ramakrishna corrected him. No, that is not so. One should pray to God with a longing heart. God certainly listens to prayer if it is sincere. There is no doubt about that. Sri Ramakrishna, what he meant was that through sincere prayer, everyone could overcome his inherent limitations and gain spiritual experience by God's grace. And he told, pray to him in any way you can hear, even the footfall. He can hear the footfall of an ant and has heard every time you have rumsed to you some day or other. Like he is always sure to hear. The God is extremely attentive, my boy. Pray to him, he surely will reveal. So we have to continue our prayer. It's a practice, daily practice. If you have any want or not, it is not about you are seeking for something. It makes a connection with the Almighty and you, who is residing in your heart. Sri Ramakrishna once told Holy Mother that the moon is addressed as uncle. So, Chand Mama, Shokoler Mama. Moon is not you or mine. It's for everyone. So, like that, everyone, so God is the uncle, the common property of all. Everyone has a right to call on him. Whoever thus calls on him becomes blessed by realizing him. If you therefore turn your attention to him, you too can attain him. Even we have heard Abraham Lincoln was a man of prayer. The biographer of Lincoln wrote that he would pray that way. Literally, he would go to his private chamber to pray. He got something, otherwise he would not have repeated it. The same thing, the so-called who are busy in their life, we think that these statesmen of different countries, we consider them as a very busy person. So we heard the same thing about Gandhi. We heard that he said, prayer has been the saving factor of my life. Without that, I would have been a lunatic by now. On another occasion, he said, in spite of despair staring me in the face on the political horizon, I never lost my peace of mind. So sometimes we raise that question. Many times we ask for something, but it was not answered. But if it is not answered, it is a different context. We will discuss on that point. But we have always noticed that though my prayer was not answered maybe, but we got some kind of peace of mind. Even this peace of mind, getting peace of mind also a great achievement from prayer. There are, in our last lecture, we have seen there are many definitions of prayer. In one definition, prayer is a conversation with God. You may remember we have discussed shared the story of Swami Shivarchanananda and another monk. And another definition is there. Prayer is the raising of the soul to God. It elevates our mind. You see that Paramanandaji's that piece of that prayer, it is about elevating your mind. There are many beautiful songs written by Tagore. It shows that one is, let me share, ভয় হতে তব অভয় মাঝে নূতন জনম দাও হে দীনতা হতে অক্ষয় ধনে সংশয় হতে সত্য সদনে জড়তা হতে নবীন জীবনে নূতন জনম দাও হে. It goes like that. Translation would be like that. Away from fear into your fearlessness. Deliver me to a new birth. From dearth to undying richness, from doubt to the abode of truth, from insensate inertia into a life anew. I need a new birth. From my wish to your will, from my welfare to your service, that seeks the well-being of all, from the many entanglements to the one bond that unifies, from joy and woe to the cradle of peace, deliver me from myself, Lord, into your very arm, arousing me to life anew. We seek for a life anew, a new life. It elevates our soul. Again, another, he wrote like that. This inner self of mine, make it flourish. O inner Lord of mine, make it pure, make it luminous, make it beautiful, make it aware, make it austere, make it free from fear, make it good, make it clear of indolence and disbelief. Connect to each and every one, set free from bindings. Instill in each and every action the serenity of your rhythm. At your lotus feet, make still the beating of my heart. Make me dwell in beauty, make me full of beauty, make me one with beauty. How beautiful. Everyone has a own language to connect with God. Sometimes we think He is invisible. We cannot see God. But it is not that. We can feel His presence. So our prayer is not a monologue. It is a mystic interior exchange with the unseen divine partner going on through the medium of faith. A true devotee does not feel that God is unknown or does not respond. His burning faith makes God a living presence. Somewhere I read, it says that idol, that image we make out of stone or sometimes out of gold, it does not make it alive. It is the devotee's prayer. It makes it alive. So he is there. Sometimes we have some wrong notions about prayer. We have discussed in our last class also. Somebody, we think that is it a begging, like we beg for money or for some shelter? No, it is not that. The idea is just like a student. When he or she asks for some knowledge, for guidance, it is not a begging. He is the teacher of teachers. We want to make a connection with the teacher of teachers, the ultimate guru. Now, prayer, sometimes it is we all love. We are, especially the modern world, there is a magic word called meditation. And here and there, everywhere, you can find some kind of society, organization, some club. They they teaches you about they teach you about yoga and meditation. But we should have a clear idea about that, about what the meditation means, what the yoga means, so that you can gain as much as possible. You can through your practice. So prayer sometimes it helps to prepare your mind for that meditation. A large number, we have seen nowadays, a large number of people seem to spend their whole life trying to meditate. For many, meditation itself acts as a trap, preventing them from moving forward. Attempting higher degrees of concentration without fulfilling the primary conditions is one of the main causes for failure in spiritual life. Unreal things cannot change one's life. It is always good to remember that a simple prayer which an aspirant can do, which is real to him, can transform his life far more than a higher spiritual technique which is unreal to him because it is beyond his capacity. Prayer, you understand. What you want, just speak out. You understand. It is real, the words. It is your words. It is your heart. But sometimes about all other techniques, in the beginning, it is unreal to you. What you are doing, why you are doing. It's very important to understand why you are doing. Just as physical strength comes from the food provided by the physical universe, and knowledge comes from ideas originating in the mental universe. About your body, we collect our food, our strength for the external world. We buy foods, everything. We eat that. That is the way we gain strength. Same way, there is a mental world. There is a mental universe. Many ideas are originating from that universe. Like that, food, it is originating from external universe. Like that, ideas is originating from your inner universe, mental universe. So also spiritual power comes from God. At the unseen touch of the golden rays of God's grace, the lotus of the heart burst into bloom. The main purpose of prayer is to seek divine power, says Sri Ramakrishna. Through prayer, all individual souls can be united to the Supreme Soul. He told every house has that connection for gas. So, and there is somewhere a storage tank is there in the city, somewhere it is there. So you have to make appeal. You apply for gas. If you do that, they will supply you whatever you need. So God is He is the storage of divine power. There is an inner resistance in all of us to the free flow of divine power, that is ego. This resistance is offered by the ego. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, rainwater does not collect on a mound. Prayer reduces the inner resistance and opens the heart to grace. Meditation is a conscious, self-directed focusing of a continuous stream of thoughts on a mental object. It should be self-directed. It should not come from under influence of any other object. Let me make clear, in Pratyahar and Dharana, there is a lecture called Pratyahar Dharana given by Swamiji. You will find it in Complete Works, first volume of Complete Works. There he wrote, that I am quoting Swamiji, now the control of the centers which is established in a hypnotic patient or the patient of faith healing by the operator for a time is reprehensible because it leads to ultimate ruin. Sometimes in many organizations are there, many faiths are there. If you go there, they generally use some kind of external suggestions. sometimes sounds, sometimes some kind of activity. Swamiji wrote very nicely. All over the world, there have been jumping and howling sects who spread like infection. When they begin to sing and dance and preach, they also are a sort of hypnotists. They exercise a singular control for the time being over sensitive persons, alas, often in the long run to degenerate whole races. He wrote about the faith healing. It is not really controlling the brain centers by the power of one's own will, but is, as it were, stunning the patient's mind for a time by sudden blows which another's will delivers to it. It is not checking by means of reins and muscular strength the mad career of a fiery team, but rather by asking another to deliver heavy blows on the heads of the horses to stun them for a time into gentleness. At each one of these processes, the man operated upon loses a part of his mental energies, till at last the mind, instead of gaining the power of perfect control, becomes a shapeless, powerless mass, and the only goal of the patient is the lunatic asylum. So that was very important, we want to say. So it should be self-directed. Sometimes we talk about in Vedanta what we should follow. What is the process? We want some kind of kriya, some kind of thing we want. So you will see there are beautiful hymns. There is a beautiful book, Universal Prayers, compiled by Swami Shivarchanananda. We'll come to that point also. So it is that prayer, and you have a clarity about the process. All those process in our classes we try to share you why you are doing this, how it is acting on your life, on your thought process. You should know. So it is Swamiji always wanted to present religion in a language of science. Nothing is futile. Whatever you're doing, this is the way that Vedanta is helping you to proceed, to advance in your spiritual life. So that's why he wrote, meditation is a conscious, self-directed focusing of a continuous stream of thoughts on a mental object. This becomes possibly only if the mind is free from hold of external objects and desires. This withdrawal of the mind or the will is called pratyahara. One way to do this is a repeated practice, but especially during the early stages of spiritual life, most aspirants find this too difficult. Intense prayer, however, quickly accomplishes it. Prayer is the bhaktas, the devotees' way of practicing pratyahara. In meditation, what you do? When you sit, you try to recollect all your mind, to withdraw all of your mind from your external world. So after a busy day of work, you scattered all your energy to doing all those things in your office, wherever, your working place. You exercise all of your energy, busy with too many things. So when you sit for meditation, your mind is not ready to withdraw from the outer world. So prayer is a great help for that. Sit there and start praying. Sometimes you need not to follow. You need not to follow certain. This is the thing you have to. You have to repeat this prayer. Not necessary. Not necessary. Whatever you're thinking, you help so that God can help you. The great source can help you that to withdraw your mind from the world. So with time, look at this. Stare at the image. Look at the image of God. And as if you were conversing with the deity, just start saying. You will see that after same time, your mind will easily, it will be fixed on some point, on your whatever, on your heart. And now you slowly, automatically, the prayer will turn into meditation. Many times we have seen, especially in our schools now, in this country especially, they are talking about this meditation classes are not at all helping. The kids are saying that we became more restless in the meditation hours, because the teachers, I think they are not providing the sufficient mental food, the thoughts. With that, you can start your process of meditation. The little minds, they're still scattered. Suddenly you are saying, close your eyes, sit for meditation. So it is not easy. So it is good, at least. It is not, I'm not talking about the perfect meditation, but at least you should provide some noble thoughts, so that closing their eyes, they can think on some good things. So after a few minutes, slowly, maybe the real kind of meditation, it can be started. So every person is capable of a certain degree of concentration on external objects or even on mental images, provided he likes them. Yeah, we can concentrate whatever we like. The plant you put fertilizer. We actually were doing yesterday. So you used fertilizer the previous morning. Now we can think of that. Think on fertilizer, no, or the plants. It automatically comes. When you like something, automatically you can think on that. The main difficulty is in connecting the mind at a higher center of consciousness. Now, if I talk about not fertilizer, you have to think on, or the plant or the flower you have seen in the plant, you have to think on Sri Ramakrishna, Jesus, on Rama or Krishna. Now think. So now you will find real struggle. You may start with Sri Ramakrishna, but immediately you will find the mind now thinking not Sri Ramakrishna, but the garden of Dakshineshwar. Again garden of Dakshineshwar, again fertilizer. So we see all those things. So what the science is, for these two conditions, the main difficulty is in concentrating the mind at a higher center of consciousness. Means think about something, a noble character, or maybe we talk about that many chakras in your body, in your heart. Start with your heart. We do not talk about much about the other higher chakras, but let us start with your heart. It is safe to meditate upon that. So for that, what you have to do? For these two conditions are to be fulfilled. The higher spiritual center should be developed and made active to some extent. And then the will and mental energies must be given a higher turn. We are talking about science of prayer. So you have to activate your higher center of consciousness. Just think about your heart. We have to. That's why we talk. We generally use some hridaya vritti, some thoughts related to your heart, helping others. Helping others. If you came in the society, do something for anything. Go to the maybe shrine, clean the carpet, whatever. Sometimes we do flower basis. So it is exercising your that higher the center of your consciousness. Now next term. So you are not talking about now. Sri Ramakrishna is talking about that I visited Kolkata and we have seen many of those people. They are busy. And many of he mentioned the city of Calcutta, but it's about any city. It is about our society. They are busy with that their lower impulses. Lower impulses, always busy. So give a little higher turn to that. Use some that activities that connects with your heart. Now, next term is your mental energies must be given a higher turn. Prayer accomplishes both these tasks. Prayer is the best way to stimulate the heart center. It stimulates your heart center. After a day's distracting work, you feel that your mental energies have become scattered. We have discussed all this in different parts of the body, and it is difficult for you to meditate. When this happens, try intense prayer. You will find prayer quickly gathers up the energies at the heart center, and you feel a new access of strength. Prayer not only detaches the will but focuses it upward. If the mind is not lifted to a higher center through prayer, the spiritual aspirant who tries to meditate very often runs the risk of concentrating on lower thoughts. So what you are thinking about, very important. That's why prayer is important place in our spiritual life. Another danger is if the mind is not lifted up. Another, you have noticed also, try meditation, it may ends up in tamas, in sleep. Sometimes we talk about that Swami, nowadays it is very difficult to sleep early. We sleep in the bed, we lie in the bed, but the mind is so restless. Sleep generally it is not coming nowadays. So, so we generally tell, okay, you can try to do japa. So doing japa, the sleep, if it is real japa, sleep will not come. But it is talking about a practical suggestion. It takes the tamas. Because your mind is not ready. So the best way to avoid drowsiness during meditation is to pray. Prayer and sleep can never go together. Prayer keeps the mind alert. Prayer thus gives a sense of security to the soul, detaches the will from desires and objects, activates the higher centers, gives a higher direction to thoughts, keeps the mind alert, and above all, clears the way for an inflow of divine power. As the aspirant goes on praying intensely, he finds that gradually prayer merges imperceptibly into dhyana or true meditation. Of course, we does not have that capacity. We all Sri Ramakrishna prayed and it happened. Jesus prayed and it happened. But not for we are just beginners. Our mind is not focused in that way. Is not pure enough like them. But through practice we can do that. Prayer is the simplest first step on the path of bhakti or devotion. But if it is to become an effective and powerful tool, it must fulfill certain conditions. The first condition is, of course, a prayerful temperament. Prayerful temperament. In our last that discussion, we talked about that Vedanta, and everyone, many of you, afterwards, they told me that they liked that visual. Vedanta entering in a shrine, but or maybe standing in front of the mother's temple. From his that way of standing, way of bowing down, it was enough to elevate the mind of the visitors, the spectators who are looking at that, because the state of his mind was reflected on his behavior. Last night I was reading from a book, Reminiscences of Swami Shivarchanananda, and probably they collected that part of the account from the diary of Swami Shivarchanananda. He was the founder, secretary of France Center. Long ago, I am talking about in 1930s, or maybe early 40s, maybe 30s. So, so Yotishanandaji was little bit of senior to Siddheswaranandaji. Both of them, probably they are talking about Bangalore or Madras or Mysore, that part. So being one day, Siddheswaranandaji, a young monk then, just a novice, young brahmachari, full of energy. So inside the ashrama, or maybe the shrine, or somewhere inside the ashrama, he was walking in a hurry, kind of thing. Sometimes we do that, no? When we sit for meditation or prayer, when you get up, making a lot of sound. When you are stepping down from the in the staircase, a lot of sound. No, because so he saw that. He saw this new brahmachari, the way he works, the way he does all this work. It is something different. He told, you see, like a little brother. He told, you see, whatever you do it some feeling, bhava. Always think you are walking behind Sri Ramakrishna. In the center, it is ashrama. It is the ashrama. Think like you are walking behind Sri Ramakrishna. Now, that feeling, we are talking about some kind of prayerful temperament. So it is, you are walking in your office, walking, whatever you are talking in your own way, and you are expecting your meditation or prayer will be a great, a fantastic meditation. So, but it is not like that. You need a prayerful temperament. With some ideas, with some feeling, we should do all our work throughout the day. So how beautiful. Just last night I read that and I thought I can share that one. How beautiful. When you are walking in the center, think that you are walking behind Sri Ramakrishna or maybe with Sri Ramakrishna. All people do not have an inclination or capacity to pray. Those who find it difficult to pray may try other spiritual disciplines. The taste of a prayerful temperament is spontaneity. True prayer bubbles up from the bottom of the heart spontaneously. But it is also true that through practice one gradually acquires or strengthens the capacity to pray. First, you do not know. In Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, in the Bible, in any other religious text, you can find how they prayed. But one thing is common. Talks with those, with God, whom we love are always personal and impersonal. In our daily practice, when you talk with your boss, you talk in a different way. But when you talk with your son or daughter or with your friend, you choose different language. Way is different. So we have seen in their prayer, the prayer of Jesus, the prayer of Sri Ramakrishna is very like that, informal and very personal. They are sharing. Even if we have seen, like one day, Rakhal Maharaj, Swami Brahmananda, then Rakhal, young boy, he was hungry. So Sri Ramakrishna started, shout, is anybody is there? Rakhal is hungry now, please provide some food. And Rakhal, young now, you have teenage boys and girls. If you have in your family, you noticed they become very, angry. Why you are saying like that? It's a personal thing. Why you are shouting? But it happened after some time. One boat was visible in the river Ganga. Some of the devotees they came, and they brought a lot of food with them. Interesting, huh? All people do not have equal capacity to pray and may not be clear about what to pray. Even those who habitually pray may not always be in a mood to pray. Important thing, mood to pray. You are thinking about, submitting your tax, all those things. Because it's March and April, this is the time, I think. Your mind is absorbed with all those things. You do not have that mood to pray. So what to do? So for that, we have got in our scriptures that already some prayers are there. That is, that our ancestors, they taught us, like Gayatri mantra, Abhyaroha mantra. They're just technical term I am using. Please lead us from that from darkness to light, that kind of thing, or a Gayatri mantra that that I please, O Lord of the universe, who created all those this whole world, please grant me pure buddhi, pure dhi. So we can ask that for pure mind, for pure buddhi. Prayer can be done in two ways, externally and internally. In external prayer, one stands or sits before an image or picture of the Lord, preferably in a temple or one's own private shrine, and gazing at the image pours forth one's heart in a fervent appeal. In internal prayer, one sits with closed eyes, visualizes the Lord's image in the heart, and appeals to Him mentally. The prayerful temperament must be supported by strong faith, faith in the existence of God, that God listens and responds to prayer. This faith must be so strong that there is no room for negative or contrary thoughts. If we pray for something but are deeply convinced that we are not going to get it, we only obstruct the working of God's grace. Prayer becomes effective only when the faith that supports it is total faith. The prayerful man must practice the sixfold surrender to God taught in one of the devotional scriptures. So, in our Samhita, it goes like that: Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshiyati iti vishwaso goptritya varnam tatha atma nikshepa karpanye shadvidha sharanagati. With a proper sense of surrender, you have to pray. You are submitting your whole of your existence. You have to pray. So what it goes like that? It says that about our ego. It talks about our ego. It prevents us somewhere. You are not putting your 100%. I am putting my 60% in my prayer, not 100%. What is obstructing me to do that? Somewhere the isolation. I am separate from Him. I am separate from God. That kind of thing. So the ego must be removed. So that the word is that karpanya, or a feeling of helplessness, is a great aid in practicing self-surrender and prayer. Some kind, you are the only last hope. You are the only last hope. Nothing to do with that. So Sri Ramakrishna is to say, if you drop the anchor and try to row the boat, it will not move forward. First, the anchor must be lifted. Only then will your efforts to row the boat be successful. This truth, in the last part of the verse that I told, Atma Nikshepa Karpane, which means that one must surrender one's small, limited sense of self completely, wholeheartedly, and without any deception at the feet of the divine. Unless this surrender is complete, attaining light in spiritual life, experiencing a true breakthrough remains nearly impossible. That breakthrough you want. Many times a barrier, a veil, a wall you cannot break. You are trying, you are moving, you are roaming inside that in the circle. But if you want to break that, you need that wholehearted surrender. Sri Ramakrishna is to pray that as long as there is a storekeeper looking after the storeroom, the master of the house does not go there. You have to keep a storekeeper. Ego is a powerful with wide-spreading roots that it cannot be rooted out in a day or two. It works in subtle and unknown ways. Life itself will teach us how to root out the ego. There is no other way than constant discernment, prayer, and self-surrender. Always try to maintain an attitude of self-surrender. If somebody is rude to you, do not retaliate. I'm not talking about your normal. Please do not bring your what happened in your office. In office, whatever did you do that? What I'm talking about is the temperament of a seeker. We are not talking about now that this gross kind of thing. When you are sincere seeker, we are talking about sincerity. So why? If you find somebody superior or to you, do not feel jealous. When you realize that the great divine mother as Prakriti is doing all work, your egoism will be very much reduced. This is the spirit we are talking about. The mother is there. In Sri Ramakrishna, there's a beautiful incident. Mother is there, but we do not have that belief. We think about, we are too much physical. We are too much physical. So that's why we want, our idea is like, of mother is like that. There's a beautiful incident from Sri Ramakrishna's life. As a young boy, he was immersed in deep spiritual practices at the Kali temple of Dakshineshwar. When he was in his 20s, 30s, that period, I'm talking about 1850s, 1860s, that time. So he was immersed in deep spiritual practices. One day, he felt a strong desire to plant some sacred trees in the temple garden. The south side of north side of the Dakshineshwar, that campus, in those days, it was a jungle kind of thing. You could not see who is there. So it was so thick and dense, those trees were there. So Sri Ramakrishna, in those days, he used to spend many hours after hours there, sometimes at night. So in our that Indian tradition, we consider some trees like bilva, banyan, the people, the amla. These are the trees. Tulasi, we consider holy. Holy means there's a common belief. If you practice your spiritual practices beneath the tree, you will have some kind of vibration. Because it is associated with so many stories of Purana, mythology. You think about them. Just like if you Sri Ramakrishna, at some point, he made some kind of Tulasi grove, and he used to sit inside that grove. So it will remind you the some kind of the beautiful memories of Vrindavana. Many times. So in a tantra, that tradition, you have that bilva tree, and other trees are there. So he had that idea that to plant some trees in a proper order, creating a serene space for meditation. With this thought in his heart, young Sri Ramakrishna wished to plant these trees, but then he realized that he would need a fence to protect them, along with bamboo sticks, ropes, and some kind of knife, we call knife, heavy knife, to build it. You have to cut those ropes, to build a fence. So amazingly, one day, as if in answer to his unspoken wish, he saw that everything he needed had washed up on the river bank with the flowing waters of the Ganga. And not a single thing was missing. Everything he wanted, it was there. The Divine Mother had already arranged for her child's needs without him even asking. Yeah, it was there. In fact, it is written, recorded, documented. That thing happened. In our lives, too, there have surely been such moments of divine grace. But caught in the noise of daily life and worries, we often forget them. I am sure in your life, many times it happened. If you noted it down in your diary, you could find that. Many times it happened. But we forgot. In the noise of our daily life, Instead, we dwell on what we lack while overlooking the countless blessings we have already received. Many were there. Um, so, so God is the indwelling witness in all beings. Spiritual life is the discovery of the soul of all souls. Prayer is a means for that. Prayer takes us nearer to God. It awakens our inherent spiritual powers. God listens to our prayer, but as Sri Ramakrishna has repeatedly said, the prayer must be sincere. The mind and heart must be made one in prayer. And in the Sanskrit, that verse we have read, that He will protect us. It comes. It is not you have to remember all those things. It comes when with your progress in your spiritual life. Protect means, again, if you are physical, too much gross, you are thinking about your body. No. We do not know which is really good for us. She knows. He knows. And that we're talking about when whatever is happening in your life, there's a connection. Don't think about your tiny that existence. We are in a journey. The giver, in Sri Ramakrishna's word, the giver is the Lord Himself. The mother-in-law said to her daughter-in-law, again, Indian household, and not a modern household. Rarely it happens now. So just like a story you hear. And so the mother-in-law said to her daughter-in-law, "My child, I see that everybody has someone to render him a little personal service. It would be so nice if you could find someone to massage your feet." The daughter-in-law said, "Mother, God Himself will massage my feet. I don't need anyone else." He spoke thus because she was a sincere lover of God. If I need a rest, He will provide the rest. I need not worry. If I do not have any rest, so I am a process of some work. Now I have to work. It is not time for rest. That belief will come. When you need rest, rest will come. Now you work. Once a fakir, in Hindi, there's a beautiful song, Data Ek Ram, Bhikhari Sare Dunya. Who understand Hindi, they can beautiful song. So Data Ek Ram. So Ram is only giver. God is only giver. And the whole world is beggar. You want peace from this world. So who is full? So the nature wherefrom you cannot get anything that substantial, you want that one from, so that's why you're not getting. So there one story Sri Ramakrishna shared. Once a fakir went to Emperor Akbar, many of you know, to ask for money. A fakir, probably he wanted to feed somebody, some devotees. The emperor was saying his prayers. He prayed. So when he saw he was busy in prayer, he stand in a little distance, but looking at what that the emperor is saying in his prayer. So he prayed, "O Lord, give me money, give me wealth, maybe give me more land." The fakir started to leave the palace, but the emperor motioned, "Please wait. I'm just about to finish." After finishing his prayer, Akbar came to the holy man and said, "Why were you going away?" The fakir replied, "You yourself were begging for money and wealth, so I thought that if I must beg, I would beg of God and not of a beggar." So, and that is the spirit. So, with that spirit comes courage. Comes purity, dependence in God. And there are, so about not answering our prayers. So with that we could conclude today's lecture, maybe today's discussion. So it's really strange how we get our answers. Very famous, and it is everybody maybe again may know. I found it somewhere. So it is said that I asked for strength, and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. Have you heard that? Very famous one. Very famous one. I asked for strength, and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked for wisdom, and God gave me problems to solve. I asked for courage, and God gave me dangers to overcome. I asked for love, and God gave me troubled people to help. My prayers were answered. When we understand that, lives become beautiful. So each of our prayers were answered because He is our own father and mother. The way, only the problem is, sometimes we do not understand the way the prayers that were answered. So let us conclude today's discussion with prayer to Sri Ramakrishna. Sangsararnava ghore yaha karnadhara swarupaka namastu Ramakrishnaya tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I offer my obeisance to Sri Ramakrishna, who in the divine form of the Guru is the helmsman of my vessel, guiding me across the vast and tumultuous ocean of worldly existence. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.